Hello everyone and welcome to Gotchalytics, where today we're going to be going over the upcoming 5-star Broadsword Electro Resonator, Augusta. We'll be going over her kit, rotation, echoes, talents, weapon options, team options, and at the end my overall opinion. I'll also be discussing a bit since she's going to be the premium support for Augusta. And now for a quick disclaimer. This video is based on my own calculations and theoretical analysis. Actual gameplay will likely differ due to in-game variables, updates, rotations, and individual playstyles. Since we're still in beta, things are unlikely to change at this point, but it is possible, so do keep that in mind. Augusta's kit is actually pretty simple, compared to the many walls of text we're used to seeing. However, there are some important details of her kit to go over. To start, Augusta's intro does a bit of damage, but more importantly, gives 100 prowess, which caps at 100. Prowess can be gained through Augusta's skill, basics, and dodge counter, but her intro will instantly fill this up. Her intro also gives her 20 forte energy called Ascendancy, which also caps at 100. Once you have full prowess, you can cast your heavy attack to consume the prowess, which casts Thunder Roar Backstep, and you can immediately follow up with the basic attack to perform Thunder Roar Spin Slash. You can do a similar combo with her skill into an uppercut combo as seen here to consume her prowess. The main reason for doing these combos is that they help you build your Ascendancy or Forte energy. Once your Ascendancy is full, you can cast consecutive Forte hits, which will be Resonant Skill Undying Sunlight Strike, Leap, and Plunge, which is a 3-hit combo as you can see here. The main reason you need to cast this Forte combo is to gain a stack of Majesty. When you have 2 stacks of Majesty, you can cast Augusta's Liberation. You can obtain 1 Majesty for each of the following: casting your 3rd Forte hit, which is a Plunge, by being under Augusta's outro and doing an outro, by an inherent skill and being out of combat as Augusta for 4 seconds. Augusta has a unique liberation that allows her to freeze time and do a ton of damage in this short window. This means off-field attacks, buffs, cooldowns, and other time mechanics will be frozen. This will allow Augusta to have a pretty short rotation, even though it may seem like she spends a lot of time on field. She also has a second liberation as well that does damage and requires energy, but the primary source of her damage will come from the time freezing liberation. This liberation is important since it does give you 40 Ascendancy or Forte energy and a good chunk of Concerto energy. Augusta also has a unique mechanic that allows her to grant herself a shield upon hitting enemies. This shield can be procced every 0.5 seconds and does not stack. This shield, while small, can be utilized for 3 main purposes. The new 3-piece Echo set effect that gives stackable crit damage and attack percent every time you gain a shield. Augusta's signature weapon that gives a stackable defense ignore when obtaining a shield, and Yuno's domain expansion that gives stackable damage amplification every time you gain a shield. As for Augusta's outro, it grants a 15% all attribute damage amplification, lasting for 14 seconds for the incoming resonator until switched out, giving her a bit of supportive capabilities. It also grants a point of Majesty and a stack of Crown of Wills to Augusta once that incoming resonator casts their outro. Crown of Wills is a decent electro damage bonus that can currently stack up to 2 times and is removed with Augusta's final hit from her time freezing liberation. The rotation I use here can likely be further optimized, but this rotation should be able to get you started. You're going to want to start with your intro attack to get your 100 prowess. Into your Resonance Liberation, the one that costs energy, to get an instant 60% Ascendancy, 20 from your intro, and 40 from your Liberation. After that, you're going to want to cast your heavy attack, Thunder Roar Backstep, to consume the prowess into a normal attack, Thunder Roar Spin Slash. You can cast your Resonance skill to build up the rest of your Ascendancy, and do 3 more skills to burn the Ascendancy to gain a stack of Majesty. You should have 2 points of Majesty at this point, since being off field for 4 seconds, by rotating through your other resonators will grant you 1 stack. You can now cast your time freezing liberation, followed up with 9 slashes at your leisure within a time frame, and cast your final liberation hit into your outro. As for Augusta's optimal Echo set, the new 3-piece Crown of Valor set and 2-piece Void Thunder will be a great choice, as the 3-piece gives up to 20 crit damage and 30% attack from its stackable effect. There will also be a new 4-cost to farm for Augusta, as it gives 12% Electro and 12% heavy damage bonus, which will be optimal for her and belongs to the new Crown of Valor set. As for your 3 costs, going for double electro damage bonus will be a bit more powerful than going for an attack percent 3 cost with similar rolls. For the 4 cost main stat, going for either crit rate or crit damage will yield similar performances, but in the rare case you have very high crit rate rolls and are utilizing Shorekeeper, you'll overcap on crit rate a bit, making crit damage a bit better, at least with her signature weapon. In terms of your Echo subset priority, going for crit rate and crit damage, as usual, will be the highest priority, followed by attack percent, heavy damage bonus, and energy recharge, since one of her liberations do cost energy. Oh, and one quick tip. If you have a bunch of Void Thunder Echoes that aren't powered up, I would wait on leveling them, so that way you can complete the new 3-piece Echo set first, since it'll likely be more difficult to farm early on. As for Augusta's talent level priority, you're going to want to focus on leveling your liberation, as most of her damage will come from these multipliers. After this, you're going to want to level your forte, followed by your normal attack, skill, and if you have the extra resources, your intro. And now, we can get into weapon comparisons. I'll be utilizing Yuno for these calculations, since she's looking to be the premium support for Augusta. But since I might make some minor tweaks to Yuno's rotation before the Yuno video comes out, just note that she might change a bit, but the changes shouldn't affect Augusta's calculations. Verdant Summit is looking to be Augusta's second best weapon option, giving some heavy damage bonus, which scales with most of her kit, and a ton of crit damage from the substat. Verdant Summit will be about a 7% team or 10% personal DPS decrease from her signature weapon. Wildfire Mark is a bit further behind, with a roughly 10% team and 15% personal DPS decrease in comparison. Ages of Harvest will perform similarly to Wildfire Mark, but will mostly depend on your Echo rolls. The next best option I calculate is the new Battle Pass weapon Ari at Zenith, at R5 with about a 17% team or 25% personal DPS decrease from Augusta's signature weapon. As for Autumn Trace at R5, it's not too far behind, with about an 18% team and 27% personal DPS decrease from her signature. Lustrous Razor will perform slightly better than an R5 Autumn Trace, with about an 18% team and 26% personal DPS decrease. Although Augusta has a pretty unique kit, she has a decent amount of team options that can work with her. While she definitely has intended synergy with Yuno, if you can't foot the bill for her upcoming banner, Mortefi will be a pretty solid alternative, as he still does offer good heavy damage bonus and several attack buffs. At the moment, I calculate about a 13% damage difference between an S0R1 Yuno and an S6R1 Static Mist Mortefi, which is much better than the difference than some of the recent characters without their signature support. Yuno does offer healing as well, allowing for more team flexibility, but it's worth noting. Prolova will also be a decent option, as she does provide a heavy damage buff and her own off-field damage. Shorekeeper will be a great option for this team as well, since she has so many useful buffs for both Yuno and Augusta. If you don't have Shorekeeper or are using her on a different team, running Jonshin in the first slot will also be a decent option, since she will be able to take advantage of Yuno's domain buff, and since Yuno is primarily liberation damage scaling, she can buff Yuno as well. Since Yuno heals, and the team does have some small shields, you could even go with someone like Yinlin in the first slot, which does buff liberation damage on her outro to buff Yuno. Augusta is looking to be one of, if not the strongest resonator for single target content in the game, so if you're currently struggling with clearing holograms, Tower of Adversity, or just enjoy her character design, there's a lot to be excited for. She also has a pretty good free-to-play option for a support, being Mortefi, making her a good option to have just for about any level of account investment. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe, as I will be making a video next. And thank you for watching.